Good afternoon, guys. It is August 19th, 2025. On this video here, I want to talk about just our culture's obsession with debt. And this is a big thing that I really hate about the American society. I'm going to put this out here. I don't care if my opinions about this offend anyone, but I'm here to just speak my honest opinion and my honest thoughts about debt and people's obsession with they have to finance everything, they have to lease everything, they have to do all of this stuff. And it is ridiculous, in my opinion. It's stupidity. Why in the world would you spend your whole life working only to give your money away to somebody who does not give a flip about you? I want to know that. Who wants to literally give their money away all the time? Because that's what debt is. When you have credit cards, when you have all this other stuff, when you have car loans, when you have car leases, when you have all this stuff, you're just working just to give your money away all the time. It makes absolutely no sense to me. So, now, I will make this disclaimer. I understand if there is a medical debt or something like that. I understand that sometimes that stuff is just out of your control, and that stuff happens. When it comes to medical debt, I am more than understanding with that. I'm not going to get mad at somebody for having medical debt because that's not always in your control. Sometimes things happen and you are in the hospital or you have to have a major surgery or something like that, and I understand that. Stuff happens. Okay? I'm not going to give people a hard time about medical debt. But everything else, I'm sorry, but I don't have patience for it. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you want to know one reason why things are so expensive? And this is not the only reason, but this is one of the reasons why everything is so expensive these days. It's because almost everybody puts things on a credit card or finances it. And that is ridiculous. Why are we financing everything? Why are we financing our cars? I'm sorry, but if you cannot pay cash for your car, you shouldn't have your car. Like I said, I'm being completely honest here. You can get a car that is $3,000 to $5,000 if you look, and you can pay cash. Try to get a vehicle that you can pay cash for. So what I recommend doing is you save up $3,000 to $5,000 somewhere in that ballpark, and you get a $3,000 to $5,000 car. And you drive that, and you save, and save, and save, and save. And then next time, maybe you get an $8,000 car. And then you save and save and save and save. And then the next time, maybe you get a $10,000 car. Like, so you're upgrading every time you save and reach that goal. Instead of having a car payment, pay yourself. Put money into a car fund. You want a new car or a newer car? Save up the money. If you can't pay for it, in cash, in total, on the spot, done deal, cash on the barrelhead, and you shake the hand and say, "Thank you for your business, sir," or whatever, you can't afford it. Period. You can't afford it. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's a car. It doesn't matter if it's clothes. It doesn't matter if it's an appliance. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. If you can't pay for it today and write a check or hand over cash, then you cannot afford it. It's as simple as that. It's that simple. I mean, we have created this culture where we think that we have to have something new all the time. We have to have the latest and greatest all the time. We have to keep up with everybody else. We have to have the newest car. We have to have the newest phone. We have to have the newest refrigerator. We have to have the newest this. We have to have the newest that. We do not have to have anything. We don't have to have anything at the end of the day. Now, yes, there are basic needs, but I'm going to tell you, if you need a car and you only have $3,000 to $5,000, you get a car that's $3,000 to $5,000. It's just that simple. I mean, I'm sorry, but I am really getting annoyed with our culture having an obsession with cars. We are obsessed with having new cars in this culture here in the United States. It is ridiculous. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I cannot in any way, shape, or form even begin to comprehend being in debt for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years on a car. That is insanity to me. That is absolutely crazy. Why are you okay with that? Why are you okay with spending 5, 6, 7, 9 years to literally just throw your money away? I will never, ever, ever understand that. Now, with homes, I have a little bit more understanding too. Yes, homes are very expensive. A lot of times it's just easier to get a mortgage so you can get into a home. But don't buy too much house. You buy what you can afford, and do not listen to what the bank says you can afford. Because what the bank says you can afford is most of the time more than you can really afford. It is ridiculous. All these lenders, all these banks, all these finance companies are mooching off of you, the consumer, and hoping that you sign up for debt so that they can make interest. Why in the world would you want to pay some Joe Blow who does not give a flip about you interest for your entire life? Why? That makes no sense to me. I mean, why? It literally makes no sense. Do you realize that over the course of 30 years, the amount that you paid in interest could very easily cover the cost of a house if you paid in cash? And it is very possible. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but it is very possible to cash out a house. I have seen it done. I have seen people do it, and that is one thing that I will personally do if I ever buy a house. I'm going to cash it out because I am not going to be in debt for any reason whatsoever. It is not happening. It is not happening. If I can't afford it, guess what? I'm not buying it. It's as simple as that. If I can't pay for it in cash, 100% that day in total, I won't buy it. It's as simple as that. And that includes a house. That includes a house. Now you ask, well, how are you going to pay for a house in cash? Well, the answer is pretty simple. I'll look for a mobile home. If I have to, I'll look for a mobile home. I'll look for an RV. Something. Because I will not sign up for 30 years of debt to own a house. That is not going to happen. You cannot make me, you cannot talk me into that. It will not happen. I refuse. I absolutely refuse. So, because here's the thing, when you go into debt, there's always a risk involved. There's always a high risk involved. And do you realize how much you are working just to pay for the debt on your car, on your house, on your credit cards, on your student loans, on whatever? I guarantee you, most people who are in debt are working 2 to 3 times as hard at their jobs just to pay for debt. And that's not even including their living expenses, because they have to pay for, food and gas and insurance and all of that. I mean, debt is an incredible burden on people. And I see so many people who really don't care about debt. They're like, oh, what's another, 9-year car loan? What's another lease on a car? That's the other thing. Leasing a car is the biggest ripoff that there has ever been. Nobody can convince me otherwise. First of all, you do not own the car, and you are paying an outrageous amount of money every month just to have the car. And did you know that they actually bake in the depreciation into the cost of your lease? That you say, oh, but I don't have to worry about maintenance. It's like, okay, but you're way overspending on that car lease when you could be saving that money in an account for maintenance and repairs. This is one thing that I'm going to tell you. The price of a new car does not even come close to outweighing the cost of maintenance and repairs. Not even remotely close. Like, it doesn't even compare. Because most cars these days are $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 or more, $80,000. You couldn't possibly spend that much money in repairs. And I hear people all the time say, well, I can't drive anything but a new car because it might break down. Well, I got news for you. Your new car could easily break down just as easily as an older car. And some of them break down even more than the older cars. And not only that, if you're buying a brand new car, you are the guinea pig for that new design. You don't know what flaws there are. If you buy an older car, you can do your research and you can find out, okay, this one had recalls for this and had major issues. I may want to avoid that. But when you go brand new, you have no record of what it's going to do. So, plus you're spending the $60,000 to $80,000, which is outrageous. That is outrageous. There are good used vehicles for $5,000 to $10,000 all the time on Facebook Marketplace. There are all kinds of different vehicles everywhere. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a vehicle, what is a vehicle for? It's to get you from point A to point B. So why are we wasting so much of our money on a car? I've heard people say, well, that's my family car and stuff. Okay. Well, growing up, my parents had a family car that they had for 10, 12 years that they bought used. And it was one of the most reliable cars we ever had. So you can't tell me that an older car is not reliable. You can't tell me that. And if you get a good car, you get a good brand such as Toyota or Honda, those are the two best brands for reliability. It's Toyota and Honda. They're pretty on the same level. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other. It's just whatever you like. But, I mean, you people have got to stop worrying about, oh, my car might break down, so I'm just going to get a new one. Well, you don't know if that new car is going to break down either. There's no guarantee. And that's just part of life. You're always going to have car trouble at some point. Something's always going to happen. That is why we have an emergency fund keep a fund of about $5, $10, $15,000. And so if there is a major repair that needs to be done, you can go get that money and put it into the repair. But to assume that all old cars are just complete junk and they're unreliable and they're always going to be breaking down is a lie. It's a lie. I have seen so many older cars that are running forever. Now, yes, eventually that older car is going to wear out and eventually it's going to need to be replaced. But literally, if you drive a car until either somebody smashes into it or it literally stops driving, and I'm talking engine blows or transmission blows, then you will save a lot of money. You will save so much money. And instead of putting that money into a car payment, spend that money that you would spend on a car payment and put it in a savings account so you can build up. And once you get up to that amount, then you can get another car. It really is that simple. I mean, I'm going to tell you one thing. I will walk before I ever have a car payment. That's just the bottom line. I will walk before I ever go into debt for a vehicle. Because if I can't afford it, I don't buy it. And especially these days, there's very little excuse because we have services like Uber, Lyft, we have, all kinds of ways of getting around. So the excuse of, well, I just have to have a new car, if your car breaks down, which is not going to happen every day. I mean, people act like it's going to happen every day, and there's no telling when. And yeah, there are some cars that are complete crap and just are a lemon and are nothing but problems. I get that. I have seen those cars. I know that that can be a problem. But for the most part, if you do your research and you get a good car, you're not going to have that problem. And the biggest thing is keeping up on maintenance. Keep your oil changed. Keep everything flushed. Keep everything running well. You check the fluids. That will prevent breakdowns. That will prevent issues. And so, I mean, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not afraid of an old car. I'm not afraid of high mileage. In fact, my own parents have a 1998 and a 2005 Toyota. Yeah, there's been some repairs that have been done over the years, but they have been running like a clock. And yeah, eventually they're going to need to be replaced. Eventually. I don't know when, but eventually they will. I mean, I'm not denying that, but you have to get it out of your head that an old vehicle is just going to break down all the time, because it's not true. It is not true. It is so not true. So, anyway, enough of my rambling. I'll get off my soapbox here, but I just wanted to talk about that because that's one of my biggest pet peeves is car debt. Debt in general, but especially car debt. I mean, I will never understand it because you are literally financing an asset that is depreciating. It's constantly going down in value, and you're paying way more than it's worth over time. It does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense, people. That's just the way it is. So, anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye-bye.